24/7, 365. So we're based out of Pennsylvania, so you're always going to get somebody at the Pennsylvania headquarters. Okay. From there, we're going to go down here to our zone control. Each of these is a separate section of lights. It's one circuit. All right. Down here, these are your scene control buttons. The way that I like to think about it is these are the individual lights, right? Whereas these are combinations or presets of multiple functions of lights. So if I wanted to have this one set to 50% and this one set to 25 and these set to 100, I can set that as a preset setting. You've got 4 selections and then an off button, so you can have 4 presets and an off. You can have up to 16 if you have integrated systems, but we don't have that on this site, so that would be something you would want to upgrade to later if you decided to. That being said, most of the stuff that you're going to be adjusting or changing is going to be found in the service mode or programming mode, where you take the top and bottom buttons and you hold them down. Now lights are going to go off while I'm doing this, but you'll see that you've got the waterfall of LEDs, which tells you you are in programming mode. First thing that's going to show up, I'm going to take this arrow right here under the fade time. I'm going to press down. This is your low end trim. So this is the absolute lowest that your lights can be set to. If you've got a flickering light, then you can bring that up a little bit so that your 1% is actually like a 5% circuit rating. Next thing, go back. The LS is your load schedule type. So this first one with the top LED is an incandescent bulb or incandescent fixture, which is that center can with the bubbles. The rest of them are 3-wire fluorescents. Now you can find the reference page for these LED codes at lutron.com under the G3000 root page, which has all of the information about this unit. So lutron.com, and it has all of our service manuals there. It's also listed on my business card for those of you who got one. Okay. Over here is your A6. A6 is just the address of this graphic eye. You have 6 graphic eyes in this building. Each one of them is identifiable by what number they are. If you had multiple ones that needed to talk to each other, you would use that address, and that's how they would know this graphic eye is A6. In the event that you ever have to replace this graphic eye, you would go into service mode, go to this area, and then change that with this up and down on the right side to select what area you're going to be for this graphic eye. And going up. Okay, so those of you who are going to be doing any changes to your lighting, those preset scenes are all saved already in the graphic eye memory. If you wanted to change that, you would go here where it says SC and then 1. That's your scene 1. What you can do is if I wanted to change scene 1, I would go over here to the individual zones and I would press up and down. So let's say I wanted to bring this zone 2 down to 75%. I can toggle this down and you see the percentage is listed over here on the screen. So you can see in scene 1, this is at full, this is at 75, this is at full, this is at full. That's at bring that up to 99. And then I'm just going to bring it all the way back up to 99 as well. When I'm done with programming that, I can press the top and bottom buttons, and that'll save all the memory and save all the settings that you've made, all the changes. Okay. This SN is the save function. This one is set to save never. We do have a table which has all of the different codes for what they're supposed to do. But the save never is that when you move these settings up and down, it will not affect your preset changes for your scenes. But if it was save always, which, let's see, there you go. So the SD, I don't remember exactly what the code is. Save by default. Means that any time that you change that LED up and down, that's going to change whatever scene you're currently in that you're playing with. So I'm going to leave that on save never. The only way you can change your presets is by going into programming. That is all of them. Oh, I didn't cover high end. So if you go over here to high end, HE, that's the highest limitation of your lighting. So if you wanted to set your lighting so that they could never go above 80%, say for example you wanted to do some energy saving, most people aren't going to notice the difference between 100% and 80%. So you can save yourself 20% of your energy just by adjusting this high-end trim. Now our default is set it to 100, and leave that to you guys if you wanted to later on to change it. But That would be mainly for an energy saving standpoint. There are a couple of other functions, but those are all listed also in the manuals. And low end should be everything. Okay. I would show you guys the partitioning sensor, but they are currently working on it. You guys have.
Now, what is that exactly?
You guys have 2 conference rooms which have a partitioning wall, which divides the room in half.
Mm-hmm.
In the ceiling, there are 2 little sensors. One of them is an infrared projector, or infrared transmitter, and the other one is an infrared receiver. When the beam is broken between the two spaces act independently. So the switch on one side will only turn off that side. When you open up that partitioning wall and that beam can see itself, then this room and the room next door will work as one unit. So when you go to scene 1 over here, the other graphic eye across the partition wall will actually go on to scene 1 as well. If you go to scene 3, it'll go to scene 3. They just clone to each other. If you change the scene on this graphic eye, it does not change the scene on the other side. All it does is you've got your scene 1 over here, which might be 50, 50, 50, 50, and over there, that scenes might be 100 across the board. If that's the case, you need to adjust the scenes so that they correspond with each other. So that scene select is going to be kind of important for you guys if you want to make changes. So, who can talk me through changing a scene? Because that's probably the most common thing you guys are going to be doing.
Press and hold the top and bottom.
Okay?
There it is.
Press and hold the top and bottom buttons. Good.
There you go.
So now where do I go?
Select up and down.
Okay.
So
up and down.
This one,
Scene.
scene
There you
one.
SC1?
Yep.
Okay. So I'd be changing scene 1. If I want to change scene 2, I'm going to press the other side of buttons.
Okay.
I'll change that to scene 2. You'll notice that the lights all shifted down. These go in real time. So you can actually go to the scene that you want, make those changes, take a look at the room and say, this is exactly what I want. And then you can adjust as necessary.
Okay, so right now we're set to,
This is
scene 1 is like 100%, scene 2 is what, 80?
It's 75. They go
75,
from
scene-
100 to 25% increments.
Okay, good.
So right now it's just a basic gradient down. If you wanted to have multiple levels, let's say you wanted everything off except for the globe fixtures, you could do that. Okay, so I've made my changes to my scenes. I've decided to change scene 2 to 75% across the board. I'm
Then
going
you
to
go-
scene
then
3,
you
and
go
same
to-
thing. Now, like I said before, if you have integration, you can change up to 16 other scenes. But
We
you
don't-
guys don't
we
have the
don't.
integration right now. If you were to install another wall switch somewhere, you could do that as well. And then your scene O is your scene off. So some people will actually leave a scene off where one of the lights is sitting at, say, 1 or 2%. So you've got a nice little night light, it's never completely dark in the room. So, we'll change
Okay,
that scene off.
we were changing the scene, so we go to scene 1, change to our ups
Make
and
our
downs.
changes. Mhm.
Then you go to either save never or save by default.
No, no, you just pull it right out of
Oh, you go to
programming mode.
programming, there you go, that's
So
right.
top and bottom buttons again, and you'll see that it'll stop flashing, and if you press the scene, these LEDs will go to the levels that you set. Okay? Now you'll notice that there is a 3 right here. This is your fade time. So you'll notice that when I go from 25% up to 100, the lights slowly dim up. It takes about 3 seconds. They don't just shoot up immediately. The reason for that is that in some restaurants, some hotels, places like that, they might have a scene for the midday where that's, we want to go dim down some of the lights and leave the other ones full up. They don't want the customers or the guests to see that, oh, suddenly the lights have changed. So they'll change that time so it's 5-10 seconds. It's a very gradual
down.
not shocking, sudden change. It's something that people don't even notice. So if you want to change that, what you're going to do, you're going to go into programming mode. You're going to go to your scene settings. Now, see, I'm on scene 1. If I press the zones button, it says 3. If I press the zone button and then the up arrow, I can bump it to 4. Let's make this a 10-second timer. So now, if I take it out of programming mode, it takes 3 seconds to go into scene 1, or scene 2, and it takes 10 seconds to slowly fade its way up to scene 1.
And
Again,
it's doing it gradually.
it's doing it very gradual. So if I bump down to 0, it takes 3 seconds. It's off. But now, it's taking a very long time to get up to scene 1.
That's cool.
All right. All right. So again, programming mode. Find the scene that you want to change. Press the zones button. Hold that down and change your time. Lutron default is 3 seconds. So I'll leave that there, and then if you guys want to make any changes to it, you can. Again, if you have any questions or if it ever comes up, you can call our tech support number. They will be able to talk you through this kind of programming, or you can find our manual at lutron.com. It's also listed.
Oh, okay.
Right. Is it not on this one? It is. It's vertical on this sticker. At lutron.com. And it's actually, apparently, there's also a G3000 training video listed for you guys for this piece of equipment. So if you wanted to go see a web-based video on how to use the system, you can. Are there any questions?